Okay, today we're going to finish up graphing and we're going to practice graphing lines from slope-intercept form. So what you need to remember, and this is part 2 of what we learned yesterday, so if you're just watching this today and you haven't done the lesson yesterday, go back and do that first. So what a slope-intercept form is it is a set of instructions on how to graph a line, and it's an equation that we can see to use to graph a line based on the slope, how we move, and then the y-intercept where we begin. So our slope-intercept form is always going to be written in a way where we have our slope, or how we move, next to our x, and our b as a number by itself without any variable touching it. Now remember that your slope, which is m, is how we move. If your slope is positive, you go up and right. If your slope is negative, you go down and right. We always write slope as a fraction. And b is going to be a point on the y-axis. That's where we begin, starting out. So let's try this out. Our first line is y equals negative 9 over 4x minus 4. b is that last number by itself, which is negative 4. So we're going to begin at the point 0, negative 4. And please write this out on your assignment when you do this today. So 0, negative 4 is right here. We always start on the y-axis. Always, always, always. Now our slope is our number in front of our x, or negative 9 over 4. So that means that we're going to go down 9, right 4. When slope is negative, we go down and right. Now, if we can't go down and right all the way, and in this case we cannot go down 9, right 4 without going off our graph, well, we do the opposite. So opposite of down is up, opposite of right is left. So we're going to go up 9, left 4. And that still gives us a negative slope. Okay, so that's our first line. Let's try another one. Number 2, y equals negative 5 over 2x. Now the first thing that we locate typically is where we begin. And in this case, there is no number there for b, okay? b is going to be that last number without a variable. But when there's nothing there, we know that that is the same as a plus or minus 0, or just 0. So where we begin is at 0, 0. So I'm going to graph that. Now our slope is negative 5 over 2. That's our m. That's our number in front of our x. So we're going to go down 5, right 2. And we're also going to go up 5, left 2. When you are graphing these lines, you should have a completely straight line every single time, because these are linear equations, meaning that we have an x and a y, and they are to the first power. They don't have an exponent or a power other than 1. So you should always get a perfectly straight line. Okay, so let's go ahead and try a few more. Here my b is 0, negative 5. Remember that last number by itself is your b. Our slope is positive 6 over 5. That's how we move. So we're going to go up 6, right 5. When our slope is positive, we go up and right. When it's negative, we go down and right to start. So we're going to begin at 0, negative 5, and then go up 6, right 1. And that's as many points as we can fit on our graph. Make sure that when you draw your line across the whole graph. Since a line never ends, we want to demonstrate that by showing that our line goes across the whole graph. Okay, number 4. So our b is 0, 4. That's a plus 4, so that means we begin at a positive 4. Our slope is negative 5 over 3. That's our m, which is the number in front of x. So we're going to go down 5, right 3 from where we began. That's how we move. So 0, 4 is right here. And then we're going to go down 5, right 3. And we can fit one more point, I believe. Down 5, right 3. Okie doke. So that is the line. Notice how our slope is negative 5 over 3. So we are always going down 5, right 3 to get to our next point. Okay, we're going to wrap up with a few more. Number 5, we have y equals 7 over 4x plus 5. Our b is 0, 5. That's our y-intercept where we begin. Now our slope is 7 over 4. Our number in front of x is our slope. So we're going to go up 7, right 4. But we cannot go up 7, right 4. We go off our graph. That's a problem. So what we are going to do is the opposite. Whenever we have a point that is off in Narnia or no man's land or off our graph somewhere, we can continue our line in the opposite direction from where we began by doing the opposite of up and right. So in this case, we were told to go up 7. Opposite of up is down. Opposite of right is left. So to plot our second point on our graph, we're going to go down 7, left 4. The only time we ever go left is when we are plotting our point in the opposite direction from which we started. Again, the only time we ever go left is when we are plotting a point from where we began in the opposite direction than what we started with. Okay, number 6. We are going to begin. So our b is -2, and it's a negative because remember, a negative and a minus are the same. Good. So we're going to begin at 0, -2. Now our m, how we move, is -1/5. So we're going to go down 1, right 5. So 0, -2 is here. We're going to go down 1, right 5. We can also go in the opposite direction, so up 1, left 5. So that's going to be our line. Okay, let's take just a couple more to make sure we've got this. So I want to do number 8, where we have a slope that is not a fraction. So here we begin at 0.4. That was a bad point. There we go. So our slope is -2, but be careful. What I see a lot of times when a slope is -2, we just think, oh, okay, so we're going to go down 2, down 2, down 2. That is not correct. So whenever you have a slope that is not a fraction, you need to write it as a fraction so you know how far to go down and right. So -2 is the same as -2/1. So whenever you have a number that is whole, you need to write that as a fraction. -2/1. So we're going to go down 2, right 1. And just follow that pattern. Down 2, right 1. Okay, and we can fit one more point going in the opposite direction. Up 2, left 1. Okay. Okay, for these last two, I wanted to do a couple that I made up that will be similar to ones on your assignment. So for this example, we have y equals -x minus 5. Our b is -5, or 0, -5. That's the point where we begin at. Now, with our slope is the number in front of x. Now, we don't have a number in front of x, but when there's no number there, that means that that's the same as 1. So our slope is -1. Now, we need to write our slope as a fraction, so that's -1/1. So we're going to go down 1, right 1. So let's go ahead and get that graphed. Remember that you want to fit as many points on the graph as you can. Okay, last one we're going to do. So we're going to do the line y equals 4x plus 3. We're going to begin at 0, 3. And our slope is 4. Remember that our slope is in front of x, and we want to write our slope as a fraction, so that's 4/1. Because our slope is positive, we're going to go up and right. However, we cannot go up 4, right 1 without going off the graph, so we're going to do the opposite because we're going in the opposite direction from where we began. So opposite of up is down, opposite of right is left. So we'll go down 4, left 1. Down 4, left 1. Okay, so that is it for today. Remember that b is where you begin. That's going to be the number that has no variable next to it. Our slope is going to be how we move. That's the number touching our x or being multiplied by our x. Remember that if your slope is negative, you're going to go down and right. If your slope is positive, you're going to go up and right. The only time we ever go left is if we are bringing our points in the opposite direction from where we began. Thank you for watching, and remember when you're doing your assignment to write out your point where you begin and how you move.